the people of the Philippines whence I came, I shall return.
Allied naval forces, supported by strong air forces, began landing Allied armies this morning.
난간部隊高いないか応答願う皇軍の兵士諸君
Hello Paradise Buddies, we are here at the Cata-al Museum, the World War II Museum. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello sir, and you are?
I am Felix Constantino Villa Cata-al.
And you are the owner of
I
this?
am the owner, the collector, the curator,
Wow.
historian, storyteller,
Oh my,
everything.
Oh my God! Di ba mga kabadis? Nabuta anyway. So sir, can I know more what's inside your beautiful museum?
Most of the artifacts I have, I took them from the ground, just picked them up. Others, we dug them up. And I was helping the Japanese in retrieving their war dead. I already have repatriated to Japan 32 of them.
Wow.
And the first batch, I gave to them on October 24, 1986. That will be 36 years ago by October 24. With the first 17 Japanese soldiers remains that I turned over to them. And when I turned over to them the first 17 Japanese soldiers remains, I started opening the museum to the general public. My father started his career as an emergency policeman in March of 1942. And in March of 1943, he joined the guerrillas.
Wow. Is it okay if we can walk
Yeah.
around and see more of this beautiful
Yes.
artifacts? How old are the artifacts that you have? What are the oldest and...
The oldest?
Yes, the oldest.
The oldest is from the 12th century. I also have 16th century Chinese plates.
Wow. These are amazing.
These rifles is the M1 Garand, the gun that won the Second World War.
Really, these ones?
This is the American Enfield when America joined the First World War. Restoration ko na lahat yan. If I will not restore them, it will just look like the two of this.
Oh, this one.
Yes, puro kinakalawang na kinakain. This is the photograph of the first 17 Japanese soldiers I turned over to Japan.
These ones?
Yes.
Wow.
And these three men kneeling were sons of Japanese soldiers. They were still babies when their fathers went to war, and they have not seen their fathers. And the comrades of their fathers told them that your father died in this island. So they were volunteering and digging into the hills to find their missing fathers, but I do not know if they found their fathers. And on the next page, those in light blue are the Japanese veterans before we cremated the remains.
You were here
Yes.
during that time? Is this you?
This is me.
Oh my God!
That was 43 years ago,
Wow.
1986. October 24, 1986. And we have an actual cremation here.
Oh wow, okay. It's actually being captured.
Before we put on the remains at the top, we put flat galvanized iron sheets underneath, then the firewood, then the remains. So after the cremation, the ashes will not mix with the soil. We have to bury the ashes into the monument. Those that we can pick up with chopsticks, the Japanese veterans bring it home. The broken remains, we bury at the monument.
Why do they have to do that? Why?
They have to bring the cremated remains to Japan to distribute to families who does not have seen their fathers. They have to distribute them to the families who lost somebody who were fighting here in this island.
And what are these pictures about?
These are the photographs in the Second World War. Notice that the women were topless.
Yes.
Because near the end of the war, there was no more clothing material sold in the market. So they choose to be topless. And they did not pick up the discarded uniforms of a Japanese soldier surrendering. He is held naked.
Oh.
So as not to hide a pistol or a grenade. They were all suicidal in nature, that they often kill themselves in front of the people. They were not using the uniforms that were discarded, because if they use the uniforms from afar, they look like Japanese, and the Americans were killing them, shooting at them.
So they really have to have nothing on. So
better topless than dead.
True. And so over here, what are these beautiful?
The Japanese flagship, the Yamato, and the sister ship, the Musashi.
Musashi.
The Musashi was sunk in the Sibuyan Sea, just north of Cebu. And the Yamato was sunk off Okinawa. The Japanese did not want to surrender it to the Americans. Alone, he was fighting the Americans, because that is a very big price for the Americans if they surrendered it. The entire length of the ship was 263 meters in length.
Oh my God.
And the weight was exactly 69,100 tons in weight. And they do not want to give it to America. So they have to fight it out to sink it.
And around over here are, of course, I can see guns.
From the battlefield.
Wow.
That is
And it's amazing that it's still intact.
the clone of the American 50 caliber Browning machine gun. The Japanese just shortened the machine gun and the ammunition itself. And these machine guns were the main armament for the Nakajima airplane. The Nakajima airplane is still making cars until today, and they call their cars as the Subaru.
It's still really fascinating that you still have bits and parts of the World War II here in your house or museum.
And the bombs are airplane bombs of the Japanese.
Kuya, mansatan.
Yeah. There's no more content. It won't explode.
Okay. Okay, Marg. That is very dangerous to see something like that to be here.
The Japanese Nambu pistol, 8 shots, 8 mm. It looks just like the German Luger, but
it does.
this is blowback.
Because
The German Luger, when it fires, goes up and down. This one, just blowback. 1925 model, type 14.
my brother would be very interested in this. Just joking, but he knows
You
guns.
notice this?
Notice. Oh my.
Very small trigger guard, very big trigger guard.
Why? Why?
That is for the Army. This is for the Air Force. Because the pilots were wearing leather gloves and their fingers won't fit.
Okay.
Very thick leather gloves.
Wow. It's really amazing to learn a lot more here in this museum and to see that so many artifacts are still intact. And now we're going to move on to their uniforms. So, sir, what are these types of uniforms that are right here?
These are uniforms donated to me by former veterans. And these uniforms came from the Second World War, from the Korean War, from Vietnam War,
Oh, wow.
from the Gulf War, Bosnia,
Amazing.
Afghanistan. Because
Is
that's
this-
the original 48-star American flag.
Oh my God. Original? The
yes.
original flag?
48 stars. In 1959, Alaska and Hawaii joined the Union, so the American flag now has 50 stars
50
on it.
yes. 50
Yeah.
stars. Oh, wow.
And the Japanese swords. The stainless steel blade is intended for the Imperial Japanese Navy. This is from the 16th century, Imperial Japanese Marines. From the Russo-Japanese War, where the Japanese won against Russia in 1905, and an Imperial Japanese Army katana. And this is the Japanese Arisaka rifle, 1939. And that is not always attached to the rifle. They can detach it. And when the enemy is just 100 meters away, the officer will tell all the soldiers, fix bayonet. They have to attach it to the rifle, remove the scabbard.
And you
And
can use it as a weapon.
in a few seconds, the dogfight will begin. If you load your rifle, you're already dead because the enemy also has the blade like this. So you keep on stabbing any enemy near you. You do not hesitate to stab. If you hesitate to stab and you load your gun, when loading your gun, you're already stabbed by the enemy.
Wow.
They do this. One load, then they fire. When they let the tangent rear sight stand, put it at the highest setting. The range of this rifle is at 2.4 kilometers. At that distance, it cannot kill, but it can wound the enemy. Because their tactic was to wound as many soldiers as they can, because for every wounded soldier, 5 is out of the battlefield. The battlefield is not even terrain. It is very difficult that to remove a wounded soldier, you need 4 men to carry him out. One handle for one soldier.
Now moving on.
This was General Douglas MacArthur signing the Instrument of Surrender, September 2, 1945. Behind him is General Jonathan Wainwright, the general he left behind here in the Philippines and who surrendered the Filipino-American troops to Masaharu Huma. And behind him is General Arthur Percival, the British general that surrendered Singapore to General Tomoyoki Yamashita. After signing the Instrument of Surrender, MacArthur gave 1 fountain pen used in the signing of the surrender. And the deck where the signing was done, that is a part of it, thick wood. And that's the authentication letter that it really came from the deck of the USS Missouri. And after signing this, MacArthur had a short speech, and he said, "It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope for all of mankind, that after this solemn occasion, a better world shall arise out of the blood and carnage of the past, a world based on faith and understanding, a world dedicated to the dignity of a man and of his most cherished wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice."
It's amazing that you still remember the exact words.
I'm the historian. Remember, I'm the historian. And I even made a poem about my pile. I call everything here as my pile. It starts with this. Everything you see here has a story. It was my experience and my memory of how time flies. And quickly, without intention, you will all become sentimental and attached. With care, my heritage and legacy will remain for 1,000 years, or maybe more for generations to behold. The joy of these treasures lie in the promise of a bright and long future, of giving the present an inkling of yesterday, of being mesmerized by the beauty, elegance, and grace of one's opulent era. Beauty, elegance, and grace that transcends the ages. It is a rare find, and it is timeless. So you open your eyes wide and see the world around you, because the greatest secrets always lie in the most unexpected places. And those who don't believe in magic, they cannot find it. Thank you.
Well, sir, thank you so much for giving me your tour around your museum and learning more about the World War II. It was very educational, and soon I might come back here as well if ever I'm with my family, and I'll show them what it's like to be in this type of museum, to learn about the World War, and for you to be educating us. Thank you again so much.
The Japanese students does not even know about the Second World War.
Oh my God.
They only knew that they were dropped by the atomic bomb, and that's what, even if they were the aggressors. They only knew that they were being dropped with atomic bomb, as if they were the ones who were the...
Well, again, thank you, sir, and
You're welcome.
of course, mga kabadis, if you want to know more and you want to see this museum, come over here and meet Sir Felix. Thank you again, sir. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our videos if you don't want to miss any of our episodes here in Paradise, Philippines.
There's a boardwalk karon. We're just touring around.
Watch out for more adventures with me, Kiara Leon Wellington, here in Paradise, Philippines.
Always the best perspective of the road. Pwede mo hikap? Umaak siya?